going to bet that you don't know who that song is by. Would I win the bet? Yeah. Her name is Faith Rivera, and she is in Hawaii on the, let's see, Oahu, and she's one of our New Thought singer-songwriters. And so Faith Rivera, that song is Here and Now. And it's a great song for today. So a few of the lyrics from that song, just the beginning. Going to turn this trickle into a flow. Say hello to a new life. Gonna let the riches in my life grow. Now is my time. This is my time. To be everything that I dream I can be in my life. And I know that prosperity starts in my mind. Here and now. Here and now. Now, my question to you, first question is, how many of you are living 100% everything that you dream you could be here and now? Good. That was what I expected. Because, hey, there's always something more that is seeking to express itself in, through, and as us. However, it also leads me to the next question, which is, well, why aren't we living the 100% of our lives as we dream them to be here and now? So I'm going to go into the answer, but it goes into last week's talk. How many of you were here last week? Okay, cool. So this might be a refresher, and for those that weren't, basically, we are doing a 7-week study on the book called The Universe Has Your Back. Transform Fear, yes, I have a few notes. Transform Fear to Faith by Gabrielle Bernstein. So in her book, last week, we learned that the stories of our lives are actually projections. The stories of our lives are projections of what we think, believe, have experienced out into life. And it becomes our reality. So why aren't we living that life that we might dream of? Well, basically because we have a fear-based world and we have things that we don't believe, and because it's done unto us as we believe. So our lives, in the movie of your life, it's basically what you're putting through the projector, and what you put through the projector is what your perceptions are. Now, the good news is we can change our perceptions. And that's one of the keys to this whole practice. I want to learn how to transform the beliefs into something that is more uplifting, more joy-filled, more loving, and less fear-based. So she says in chapter 2, the stories we project on our internal movie screens become the experiences we perceive to be our realities. We spend our days collecting information and images to support our inner movies. Isn't that interesting? We are in a constant state of focusing on certain things and filtering out others that don't support our stories. And so we are actively choosing the world we perceive. The more attention we pay to certain images, the more we actually filter out others. And the Course in Miracles emphasizes that what we perceive is solely based on our interpretations. We can have the same event happening, and we would probably have 60 different interpretations, right? Disagree with me, say yes. So she has these things called universal lessons. And this one is, we are not responsible for what we see, what our eyes are seeing. We're not responsible for what our eyes are seeing. We are responsible for how we perceive what we are seeing and saying. We are responsible for how we perceive what we are seeing. We can all see the same thing, but how I'm seeing it is going to be the thing that makes the biggest difference. How I see it will mean that I'm either going to contract in fear or expand in love. And that's the premise, is that we're seeking to release fear that has so much part of our lives that we don't even know it, and to move into a more expansive expression of love. So she has an example in her book. For many years, she saw her body as weak, as fragile, easily got sick. And guess what? She was very susceptible to having illnesses. It was part of her belief. She believed that. And then she decided she wanted to start a family. And she knows these teachings, and she recognized she probably ought to just start changing this view of her body. And so she made a commitment. She asked Spirit for some guidance, and she made a commitment that she was going to proactively take care of her body and that her body was healthy and free. And she did this over and over and over, and guess what? She started to manifest a healthy, strong body. I actually have one. My body is happy, healthy, strong, and free. Happy, healthy, strong, and free. Happy, healthy, strong, and free. Basically, it's like lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I call these power thoughts, and define 4 things that are in the land of relationships, in body, in your work. So you can come up with your 4 and then make that your mantra. So Gabby believes that the universe is our classroom, right? We're in the universe and university of life. It fits, right? And that we have teachers. We have 2 teachers. We have the teacher of fear, and we have the teacher of expanding love. Now, it actually does not come naturally to us to have that loving expression. She says, choosing the loving guidance of the universe doesn't come naturally to us. We live in a fear-based world, and our default setting is to lean toward fear. We are always manifesting either by love or fear, and it's up to us as to which teacher we're going to go for. So we have choice, and it takes some effort. That's why we're doing these soul circles, so that we're not just reading the book, we're actually doing some exercises to take us individually deeper into the experience so that we start making changes. So how many of you would like to know how you can enroll in the teacher of love? Okay, I'll see you afterwards. No, I will share with you. The first step, there's 3 steps. The first step is to ask for guidance from the universe. You want to ask for guidance because it reconnects us to the inner wisdom, to the God self, to spirit, to the voice of love. It reconnects us to the voice of love, and it releases the voice of fear. Now, the very interesting thing about Gabby's way of asking for something or doing a prayer is she doesn't ask with a question mark at the end. Asking for guidance, you could say, God, Spirit, please, would you please guide me? You know, she always starts her prayers and her asking with the words, thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. That's why I love her, because that is my way of prayer. If the only prayer you ever said is thank you. See, the idea of saying thank you is saying that we are going to say thank you to Spirit for the guidance of reconnecting me to the voice of love. So I personally have an area of my life that I'm really needing to do some work. And I'm like, thank you, universe, for guiding me away from fear and into the voice of love. And I'm saying it over and over and over again because I have got to rewire the dendrums or whatever these little things are that connect in our brains, because I have some very deep beliefs that are messing with me. and it happens to all of us. She always begins with, "Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the teacher or eyes of love." I'm going to have you repeat each of these parts of this. Thank you, universe, for guiding me, for perceiving this fear through the eyes and teacher of love. Now, she uses the word teacher. I resonate better with the eyes of love. That seems to catch me more. See, when you read the book, you go, "Oh, that's good." And then what makes it better will be your inner spirit letting you know. So I invite you to close your eyes and take a breath. And let the breath go and just allow yourself to center. And I want you to think of an area in your life that feels blocked, that you would like to experience more joy and freedom. Bring to mind one area that feels blocked and you want to experience more joy and freedom. And now that you have this, I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceiving this fear through the eyes of love. Now just breathe, let it go. This is your invitation to say this in a constant, everyday, anytime you feel that things are, I said the word fear, everything is fear-based. That if you're in a low vibration, it's in a fear base, no matter what it is. There's always a fear. You can ask yourself, what's the fear underneath this? Because I guarantee you'll find it, because we're either coming from love or we're coming from fear. You can't come from both. So you can ask yourself what that belief is. So by continually asking, but I'm going to say asking / thanking the universe for its guidance, we're inviting what is the Course in Miracles calls the holy instant. The holy instant. And the holy instant is the moment that you have surrendered your fear, that you've surrendered your fear to the care of the universe and accept the perception of love. It's when you let it go. You put it on the altar of love. You surrender it. Say, I'm laying this down and I'm opening to the perspective of love. By being willing and ready to have a new perspective, the universe is here to support us and love us. The universe has our back. We need to have our back at the same time. She talks in her book about it's not about avoiding our fear, okay? Because you can't avoid fear, by the way. It's going to show up. It's just part of its nature is to show up. And when it shows up, we want to return to love. That is actually the goal. So I'm going to move along here and find where I'm at. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, I'm in the wrong chapter. That would help. We're actually looking at 2 chapters this month. All right, now you got these things flapping around. She says, the goal isn't how well we avoid the fear, it's how quickly we return to love. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid fear. Fear will never go away altogether. And if you pour your energy in trying to avoid it, you're going to miss the opportunity to experience the holy instant. The goal is not to believe in fear, but to commit to practicing the holy instant by asking for guidance or thanking the universe for guidance. Whenever you notice yourself stuck in the fear-based story, use this prayer. See if you can remember it. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of love. Very good. Now, if you get the book, you want to go to page 31 to be with that. So it's asking and thanking and getting those holy instants where things are going to change. And it's not that your experience changes, okay? But your experience of your experiences change. I like what Wayne Dyer says. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change I'm going to have you repeat after me. When you change the way you look at things, oh, you don't have to repeat it because you did it. the things you look at change. Very good. Now, for me, I have an example of my dad who he drank a lot, and he was an entrepreneur, and he was very successful. And I did not know what an alcoholic really was, or what an adult child of an alcoholic was. And I just experienced my dad as being a word that I'm not going to say from the platform. But then later, I had a cultural training, and he was of the Finnish culture. And when I learned about the Finnish men who are hardworking and they drink, I thought, oh, he's not that word. He's just being a good Finn. Who knew? And then there was a time where he raged, and he was with his mom, my grandma, and me, and she said something, and it was about her doctor or this or that. And his way of doing rage is he'd get ticked off and he would leave, right? He would just leave. And I was like, oh, there he's doing that again. And then the light bulb came on, and it said, this is the way your dad expresses love. Wow, because Finnish men do not express their feelings. It is not okay to be vulnerable, to feel helpless, to feel anything less than strong. For him, it was the way to express his love. I was like, wow. So I had so many revelations about my dad. I had a lot of anger towards him. I had a lot of hurt. I wrote him a couple letters about carefronting through my counselor, the disease he had. And he didn't respond. And I was like, and of course I was hurt, and I felt my feelings, because I also like to avoid my feelings. And with my counselor, he became like the good daddy to me. One day, as I did this work, I realized that my dad never had a good daddy or a daddy steward that I was having. It changed my whole perception of my dad. He never had. He couldn't give me what he never had. I had compassion. It broke my heart open. The anger, the sadness just disappeared because he was doing what he could do. And it wasn't what I would have preferred, but I had the fortune to have a counselor that helped me, and then I learned how to be the good daddy to little Liz. Well, that's another story. So in the steps of your shifting your perspective, number one, you're thanking the universe for the guidance. Number two, I invite you, and this is your homework for some of you, if you care to do it. You don't even have to be in a soul circle group, but to write a purpose statement. Your purpose statement is signifying to the universe that you are ready to have a new perspective, that you are open, okay? And when you write it down, it becomes more concrete. There's something that happens when we write things down. So you can do something as simple as saying, I am ready and willing to learn from love, or I'm ready and willing to see from love. And just have it be simple as that, and then repeat that, because repetition is what's going to switch this thing up here. So you're thanking the universe. You're writing and speaking over and over your purpose statement. I'm ready and willing to see with the eyes of love. And number 3, the chapter that I'm talking about is called You Are the Dreamer of Your Dream. You are the dreamer of your dream. What does that mean? It means that step 3 is that you are being invited to create the visions of what you would like to see in the world. What are your visions? What would you like to see for your life? The power of imagination is so powerful. It is one of the Unity 12 powers that we engage in. So I call it visualization, but I also call it feelization. Because you don't want to just see it, you want to feel it. That's where the vibration gets even stronger. So this week, I'm going to invite you to write down the visions of the world you'd like to see. Write those down. Again, make it concrete. And in her book, the exercise is you write down your visions. Then you read them once a day, and you sit in stillness for 5 minutes. Not a long time. And for me, I like to have a mantra while I'm sitting in the meditation. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. So it's inviting the universe to give and bring images that you may not have had at the get-go, to feel it. So this is what I'd like to see. This is what I'd love to see. This is what I'd love to be. You have no idea where Spirit's going to take you in a meditation. Be open. And then your 5 minutes is up. Then you basically write down the images. We have the power to create a new world for ourselves. Now, have you ever noticed the darkness in the world? Come on. And low vibrations for ourselves in the world? And she talks about this. She's like, so what happens when low vibrations or something very disturbing happens? Want to know what you do? What? What? You, please, you get it. You grab a flashlight. Okay? It's dark. It's disturbing. You grab a flashlight. Well, here's the flashlight. Gabby's flashlight is those 3 steps. You use those 3 steps. That is your flashlight. By thanking the universe for guiding you to perceive the fear with the eyes of love. You do the purpose statement. I'm ready and willing to see from love. And I create my new visions of a world that I would love to see. That's your flashlight. Anytime you start feeling it like it's terrible and rotten and you're going down that path, get your flashlight. Start doing those 3 exercises. Or don't. But I would suggest, I would like you to maybe have your flashlight. And, you know, it doesn't need batteries recharged. So do you all have your flashlight? Yes. There you go. So we are in the University of Life. And you know, when you go to the university, you get assignments. Assignments. Yes, you do. And she says your assignments are either going to be people or situations. What? People or situations are your assignments. And she talks about how we're going to get these assignments, and they're opportunities for us to move from fear to love to healing, our perception back to love. And in closing, on page 42 and 43, yeah, it's in here. We want to witness what may seem to be a terribly uncomfortable situation that is actually a universal assignment. In other words, witness your craziness and call it by its name, fear. Then accept that the fear has shown up as a divine assignment for healing and growth. The next step is to accept that you can't avoid the assignment. You can only postpone it. If you don't choose to accept the assignment today, it will present itself in a new relationship. Anybody kind of go, yep. If you don't show up for it, it will continue to show up for you. So you might as well say, okay, let's do this assignment. I don't want to, right? I recommend showing up. And how to show up to the universal assignment? This is the one that why we don't want to go there. Requires your willingness to feel the pain it triggers so that you can heal from the past. Many folks on a spiritual path skip this incredibly important step. It's easy to throw an affirmation on top of your fear or try to will it away. But underneath all of our difficult experiences are unfelt anger, resentment, and fear. Take some time to honor your feelings that live below these stories. Underneath the fear-based projections are deep, hidden wounds that you've been ignoring because you're afraid of feeling the old pain. Instead of allowing the pain to be present, you project it onto other people. Yeah, that sounds like the thing to do. The fearful part of your mind will do whatever it takes to distract you from feeling this pain, because the moment you start to feel it is the moment you start to heal it. We cling to fear out of habit. We're convinced it's easier and safer to deny our uncomfortable feelings. But what we repress will persist, no matter how good we are at avoiding it. While it may seem terrifying to face our deepest wounds, there is always freedom on the other side. I read this and go, okay, fine. Basically, my big wound is abandonment. You know, my wife, who made a passing, who left the area, she left me. Well, it doesn't go just there. It goes back to a little girl who was 3 or 4 who felt very abandoned by her mom and her dad emotionally. And I'm like, I have to do this work? It's like, well, you don't have to. And there is an exercise that it's called the forgiveness letter. It's actually the feeling letter. And I am committed. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't commit in front of you all, but I am going to. I am committed to doing this exercise and writing it to my mom and dad. And it's about giving voice to my anger, giving voice to my sadness, my fear, my regret, and my love. Because I'm stuffing it. I know I'm stuffing it. It's in here. And it needs a voice. And I don't want to do it, but I am doing it. And I'm going to my counselor because that's where I'm going to share it. Because I want to clear this up. I am fearful of relationships because they're going to leave me. Hello, am I attracting any relationships with that very deep fear? Heck no. So when you do this work, then you have loving compassion for yourself. When I do this work, I'm going to talk to myself, and it's that loving self-talk. Liz, good job. This was not easy. I'm going to talk to that little girl. I love you. I'm here for you. I'm sorry that we had this less than perfect parents, but they didn't have it either. It's like, it's okay. It's okay, sweetie. I'm proud of you. I love you. So I'm going to bring compassion to this little girl so that she can heal and know that I'm still here for her no matter what, and that we don't have to carry this into any other relationships. So remember that the universe is here to love, to support, to guide, and lead us back to love and to healing. Oh, I had one more thing. Okay, sure. Yeah, this one I love. It's on page 48. Thank you, universe, for presenting me with this divine assignment for spiritual growth and healing. I am ready and willing to show up for this assignment with love. I welcome your support. Show me where to go, what to do, what to say. I trust I'm being guided. Let's do this work together. Let us be guided to bring out our flashlights, to shift from fear to love, knowing the universe supports us in every way, and together we make a brand new day. And so it is.